Ambulance emergency. Is the patient conscious and breathing?
Yes, he is, but he's been stabbed.
Okay, so he's been stabbed.
Yeah, in the back. He's actually got a chest wound.
Is he bleeding very heavily?
Yes, he is.
How old is he?
He's a teenager.
And you say he's bleeding from his mouth?
He's bleeding from his mouth now, and I think he's actually going to go into cardiac arrest.
Okay, so what we need to do is start on chest compression. So we need to go at 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Welcome to the Deadly Diaries, where we dive into the darkest corners of true crime. In the quiet town of Reading, Berkshire, the afternoon of January 3, 2021, began like any other. But within hours, a tragedy would unfold that would horrify a nation. A 13-year-old boy lured from his home, a brutal ambush planned by peers, and a murder that played out in chilling detail, not in the shadows, but through messages, voice notes, and social media posts. Teenagers, manipulation, revenge, and a chilling use of social media to orchestrate every step. In a case that stunned the UK, the murder of Ollie Stevens raised urgent questions about youth violence, digital influence, and the devastating power of peer betrayal. In this episode, we dive into the heartbreaking case of Ollie Stevens, the boy whose life was stolen in a senseless attack that stunned the UK. Born on November 1, 2007, Oliver Ollie Stevens was a boy full of dreams. He was 13 years old. On the surface, just a typical teenager, but to those who knew him, Ollie was anything but ordinary. He grew up in Emma Green, a quiet neighborhood on the edge of Reading. It was a place where kids still rode their bikes in the street, where school, family, and friends filled the rhythm of daily life. Ollie filled his world with the things he loved: Xbox marathons, rap music he wrote himself, pulling perfect wheelies, and indulging in his favorite treats: cheeseburgers, fizzy drinks, and Domino's pizza. He was funny, sharp, and full of energy, but he was also deeply kind. Recently diagnosed with autism, Ollie's family saw his uniqueness as a strength. His dad called it his autistic superpower. That power, they said, was love. He celebrated the differences in people. He stood up for others. He believed in fairness and justice. He was a proud supporter of the Black Lives Matter movement and LGBTQ+ rights. He hated injustice. And when a younger student at his primary school lost his hair during leukemia treatment, Ollie shaved his own head in solidarity. He was, in every sense, a protector, a champion of the underdog. But in a world that doesn't always value compassion, that kind of loyalty can be dangerous, because sometimes the things that make you special are the very things that others try to destroy. And on a cold January afternoon in 2021, Ollie Stevens would walk into a trap he never saw coming. It began with a video. In the weeks leading up to his murder, Ollie Stevens came across a clip posted on Snapchat. In it, a young boy was being humiliated, taunted, and filmed by two older boys. Ollie didn't stay silent. He forwarded the video to the victim's older brother, trying to alert him to make it stop. It was a decision rooted in empathy. But for the boys in the video, it was seen as something else entirely: snitching. That one act, meant to protect, sparked a chain reaction of rage, revenge, and betrayal. The two older boys in the video were furious, and they wanted payback. What followed wasn't an emotional outburst. It was something colder, more deliberate. The two older boys recruited a 13-year-old girl to help carry out their plan. She knew Ollie in real life, but interestingly, she had only met the two boys online, meeting them face to face for the very first time on the day of the murder. Her role: lure Ollie to a nearby field, Bugs Bottom, a place just minutes from his home. Make it seem casual, make it seem safe. Meanwhile, the two boys plotted the rest behind a screen. Social media became their weapon. Snapchat voice notes, disappearing messages, encrypted chats that adults couldn't see. They laid it all out: how it would happen, when, and who would do what. Karma, one of them said. He deserves all of this. This wasn't just schoolyard drama. This was a conspiracy. Coordinated, predatory, hidden in plain sight. And Ollie? He had no idea. He thought he was stepping out to meet someone he trusted. He left home without hesitation, just a short walk from safety. But every step he took brought him closer to something far more sinister. It was January 3rd, 2021. 13-year-old Ollie Stevens left home for the final time on a Sunday afternoon. He told his parents he was meeting a friend nearby, a girl he knew and trusted, unaware that this would be the last time he was seen alive. On January 3rd, 2021, the girl arranged to meet Ollie at Bugs Bottom, a field close to his home, shortly before 5 p.m. Ollie believed the girl would be alone, but when he arrived, he was ambushed by the two boys. One of the boys, only 13 years old himself, was armed with a knife. The attack began with fists. Ollie fought back, managing to knock one of the boys to the ground, as later revealed in court. But then the younger boy drew the knife he had been carrying. In a terrifying moment, he stabbed Ollie twice, one in the chest and in the back. Without hesitation, the two boys and the girl fled the scene, leaving Ollie injured and alone in the cold winter air. What had started as a casual meeting ended in a brutal, calculated attack, one that shocked the community and exposed the darkest corners of adolescent cruelty. In the hours that followed, the story grew darker, a tale of betrayal, silence, and lost innocence. As the sun set on that cold January evening, emergency services rushed to Bugs Bottom Field. Ollie Stevens had been found badly injured, stabbed in a brutal attack. An off-duty nurse walking her dog nearby witnessed the stabbing. Without hesitation, she rushed to Ollie's side and began administering first aid. Paramedics arrived quickly and performed CPR for 30 minutes, desperately trying to save him. But Ollie died in the ambulance before he could be taken to hospital. His parents were told of the attack by another boy. They arrived at the field to find paramedics working frantically on their son. Later, they recalled the heartbreaking moment they knew he was gone. The police immediately launched a full-scale investigation. Detectives scoured the scene, searching for physical clues. But the truth was not only in the evidence on the ground. It was also hidden in the digital world. Social media messages, Snapchat voice notes, and encrypted group chats revealed a disturbing picture. Officers uncovered conversations where the suspects boasted about the attack beforehand, exposing a calculated and cruel plan. One chilling message stood out.
I'll just give him bangs or stab him or some chance.
I do not care if you fucking die. Because basically, Ollie texted me randomly yesterday and was like, oh, do you want some cigarettes? So I was like, yeah, because he wants me to set him up. So he's gonna go bang him and pattern him and shit. I'm so excited you don't understand.
According to reports, the two teenagers used social media to share hateful and threatening messages aimed at Ollie Stevens. Snapchat, a platform designed for messages to vanish without a trace, became their playground for cruelty. The fleeting nature of these chats allowed their hostility to go unchecked, slipping through the cracks with little to no accountability. After the attack, the two boys tried to cover their tracks. They removed and discarded their blood-stained clothing, tossing it into an overgrown area near a railway line. They wiped their phones, deleting incriminating chats, voice notes, and any link to the murder. They began searching the internet for news reports about the stabbing, watching the world react to a crime they had just committed. Then came the confession. Just 2 hours after Ollie had died, the older boy sent a text message to another teenager. The investigation into Ollie Stevens' murder was led by detectives from Thames Valley Police. It didn't take long for the truth to surface. The perpetrators were quickly identified and arrested. On January 6th, just 3 days after the attack, all 3 teenagers were formally charged. In a case shaped by digital footprints, over 90% of the evidence presented at trial came from mobile phone data. Snapchat messages, voice notes, group chats, screenshots. Everything they had once believed would vanish was now evidence. In July 2021, after a 5-week trial, the jury returned its verdict. Both boys, aged 13 and 14 at conviction, 12 and 13 at the time of the crime, were convicted of murder. The court handed them life sentences. One was given a minimum term of 13 years. The other, 12 years. For the girl who had lured Ollie to the field, the charge was manslaughter. She was originally sentenced to 3 years and 2 months in detention, but following an appeal, that sentence was increased to 5 years. Because of their ages, none of the defendants can be publicly named. They are among some of the youngest individuals to receive life sentences for murder in modern UK history. Justice had been served in the eyes of the court, but for a grieving family, no sentence could ever bring back the son they lost, or the childhood that was so brutally taken from him. Ollie Stevens was more than the headlines that followed his name. He was a son, a brother, a friend. Ollie's life was full of potential, of laughter, of light. And while that life was stolen far too soon, his impact lives on. In the hearts he touched, the voices he inspired, and the change his memory continues to spark. Those who knew Ollie speak not just of the pain of losing him, but of the joy of having known him. But through the heartbreak, Ollie's story has stirred something deeper, a conversation about the world our children are growing up in and the responsibility we all share to protect them. Ollie's name will not be lost to time. He was here. He mattered, and we will never forget. Thank you for joining us on this episode of The Deadly Diaries. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share to stay connected with stories that matter. And remember, if you or someone you know is in danger, please seek help. Until next time, stay safe, stay vigilant, and never stop asking why.